Hey, it's Coach with Tactical Hyve, and as you can see, I'm not on the range today, but I want to talk to you guys about my own evolution when it comes to putting red dots on pistols. When I first started out, we had something like this. Good old 1911. We put some like combat target sights on there, and that was good to go. You know, at the time, for the time, that was the way to go. As time went on, we moved over to the SIG 226. Again, you know, no accessories at all, just good old iron sights. Iron sights work all the time. You know, you sight them in, they stay sighted in. There's nothing to break, nothing to run out of batteries or anything else. And up until shortly, in fact, this is one of my concealed carry guns. You can put a weapon light on there, and all that does is help me positively ID my target, and it puts that light out there so I can see my sights. All right, it's pretty simple, no issues. When the red dot first started coming online, it was for competition. All right, and I've got one of these old rigs here from B Squared, actually. So the red dots back then weren't very robust, so you didn't want them rattling back and forth on the slide. So, you know, this just mounts here. You can see that the slide will work, and that just stays there. And it's kind of a pain in the ass. But anyway, it gets in the way if you were doing, you know, your drills, your tap racks, malfunction drills, reloads. It's just kind of bulky, right? But this is how they had to do it at the time. And then, of course, technology gets better, and you start getting the miniature red dot sight. So now we got this one set up, mini red dot and a light, so I can still get that positive identification of my target on any gun that I might have to use to eliminate a threat. About 2 years or so ago, these started showing up. It was the Docter sight, which I've got a few of those, but they mounted those on the Glock 19. And when they first got there, I just kind of ignored them. I was like, you know, more complexity than I wanted to deal with, you know, because I'm fairly old school. But, you know, you can teach old dogs new tricks, apparently. What really started to turn my head towards the application of the red dot was guys would show up at civilian classes that we were running with red dot sights, wanting to know how they can shoot them better. So okay, I'll give it a try. So I went ahead and got one for my SIG, started working it so I could help guys out. And I noticed I shoot a little better once I get it out there because my eyes aren't as young as they used to be, and it's easier just to pick up that red dot and go to work. And then the other application to this is night vision. So the guys at work run around on night vision. Back when I was operating, all you needed was a light on your weapon to light up your sights, because you weren't going to use that gun outside. Okay, with the way we were running at the time, when you're outside in the dark, you had your nods on and you had your laser on your rifle, and you weren't ever going to use your pistol outside. There was no real need for it. You weren't at that distance. Once we got inside, you just looked under your nods and turned on the white light, because we were faster that way, and we were positively IDing targets and, you know, making it work that way. Well, time progresses, and now we're, you know, doing CQB on nods. So the guys are learning to use these. Now, at close ranges, if your primary goes down, you need to get that secondary out and get to work. And on nods, you aren't seeing iron sights. So night vision goggles, you have to have focused at a certain distance. And if you know, like some pilots, they'll do one is focused close distance, one is for far distance, so they can see what's going on out here, but they can also look down and see their controls. That drives me insane. I can't get used to that. I mean, his pilots are a little wacky anyway. I know, my brother's a helicopter pilot. The idea behind the red dot is you can pull that up and get it up in your nods, and most of them have a night vision level, so it won't wash you out, but you can actually use your pistol with nods on. So that's kind of the history and how we've gotten up to where we are and how we're applying it now. Now, where does this come in for civilians? Well, Another thing that came up was that shooting that they had at the mall, what, a month or so ago. Young guy gets shots off from 30, 40 yards, scores 8 hits out of 10. And I'm thinking to myself, it might be easier, because up until now I figured, okay, all I was ever going to really plan for was a close encounter, because that's where most of them are going to happen. But if you have an active shooter and all you have is a pistol, and you have to take that long shot, because it's not you that's in danger right now, it's other people are getting injured or killed, and you want to put a stop to it. So being able to put accurate shots on the threat at a distance has become a little more viable, okay? So they make really small ones. I'm actually in the market now to put one on my SIG here, just to have, you know, just for that just in case scenario. SIG makes Red Dots, Holosun, Docter, there's a bunch of them out there. Let's see, Trigicon makes their version, which is actually really good. Fairly expensive, but still, I mean, you got to pay for quality, right? Most of them have just the red dot. Holosun came out with this one, so I had to go with it. It has a circle dot. So as you present, you know, if you're not perfectly lined up, you might catch just the edge of the circle and you know which way to move it, okay? And that'll help you as you train, okay? And about training, you have to train with these things. One thing I noticed when I first started playing with this is I'm used to picking up that front sight. Well, I started looking for that red dot. So my time from draw to first shot actually went up. Okay, it was taking more time because I was finding myself looking for the red dot as I presented. What we're training to now is you're gonna go to that same spot that you normally do, just like your point shooting. In fact, I'm probably gonna point shoot you at close range anyway, because it's faster. But once I have the gun out there, now I can put that red dot where I want it, and as long as my fundamentals are clean, okay, that shot's gonna be more accurate. Now, the red dot is not, it's not a crutch for bad technique. You still have to have good technique. You still have to put the reps in, so when the chips are down, you're gonna know what you need to do, right? So pick whichever one you want. You know, if you want to try this, if not, hey, you know, iron sights are always there. They always work. But if you can get more capability for a little more complexity, and you know, maybe having to you know, change a battery once a year or so, then a red dot might be an option to look at. As always, if you like this content, like, subscribe, and leave me some comments.